Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Gio Perez, and I want to welcome our guest tonight. He's 11. He's actually won 11 world titles, world kickboxing champion, and film star. He's also a producer and a fight choreographer. He's also written some of his scripts. Don the Dragon Wilson, and I'm very humbled and honored to have you here for
Thank you,
the
Gio. Thank you
International
for
Hall
inviting
of
me.
Fame channel. Man, it's amazing. I know. By the way, being able to listen to your philosophy in martial arts, and also watching you as a hawk, watching you how you do your acting and how you set yourself up to be in front of the camera was a great experience to be able to see you there. And anyway, my first question to you is, I know that the last time that I remember practicing at during this whole pandemic situation, you were talking a lot about the philosophy of martial arts, but I know that you didn't. The way I understood that I understood is that you were always evolving yourself because you wanted to be the best martial artist. Still till today, you still want to be that best martial artist,
The best
and
martial artist that I can be,
yeah,
I don't believe in doing things halfway. I want to be the
right,
best I can. And so I was a big believer in cross training, even in the beginning of my martial arts. I started out as a Japanese style, Goju, and then I went to Pai Lum Kung Fu. And then I started kickboxing. And which I studied everything. I went to boxing gyms. I went to Thai boxing gyms. I trained all over. So the idea of cross training came to me very early because I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, and Bruce Lee believed in that. You
right.
know, matter of fact, I was a wrestler. People had asked me, "Are you comfortable with grappling?" And I said, "Well, I was a collegiate wrestler, and of all the sports I've done, I was probably the best at that. I took to it really
Yeah,
fast.
it,
I was
it,
forced in the
it
state of
would have
Florida,
been
and I took to it.
amazing to see you as an MMA fighter if MMA was
Oh, it'd have been fun. Oh, I would have loved it. I would have loved
yeah.
it.
But anyway,
Um,
I know you had so many people that you've competed against, and I mean you're recognized by not just your punching but your kicks. I mean the speed of your kicks. I know you had some
well,
amazing hook kicks and back kicks also. So
Well, look, I came from an era where I was just behind Bill Wallace, who was a champion before me. So I
right,
took Bill Wallace's seminar, and he teaches all his techniques and training methods for his lead leg kick and how he uses his lead hand. So I studied that and I practiced it. Then I was in Hawaii, and Benny Urquidez was teaching a seminar, and I took his seminar. And I learned how to mix power with it, how to pressure people, how to block leg kicks, how to use leg kicks. I learned from Bill Wallace and Benny Urquidez, and I combined it with my own style and my own philosophy, and that's where I got my fighting style. My fighting style was a combination of Bill Wallace and Benny Urquidez. And you know what? It was good. People ask me, well, how does it work? I said, well, it worked good enough to win 11 world titles. Through many different weight divisions. I fought from middleweight up through to cruiserweight, 195. And so that's why it was different titles and it was different styles of fighting, from full contact style to Japanese kickboxing style to Thai boxing. They didn't have the grappling, but like I said, I was a wrestler, so I would have taken to jiu-jitsu. Look at the grapplers, the wrestlers that have done well. Matt Hughes, Randy Couture. Wrestling is not submission and it's not martial arts, but it is. You do get a skill set of conditioning and strength and balance and things that once you learn the techniques, a, a high caliber wrestler can easily perform well self-defense wise on the ground. So
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I was born to do martial MMA, but unfortunately it came after my time.
wow. So one of the things that I know is that you were also, I mean, while you were fighting, you were also doing movies at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah. My original plan was I retired in 1984 and I
Uh-huh.
moved out to LA to be an actor.
Mhm.
And after about 10 months, I was broke because I was not getting any jobs. I laugh and I tell people I was a 6 foot tall Asian with a Southern accent. And I said, nobody wanted to star me in a movie. I couldn't get a part in a movie. I couldn't even, even a bit part I couldn't get in. So I ran out of money and I started fighting again. And this is 1985. I started fighting. So then what happened was in 88, I did Blood Fist. It was a big hit. I was the star of the movie and it was a big hit. And from then on, the offers kept coming. And I realized after 1988 that the time I would take to train for a fight, I could have made a movie and made a lot of money. And then I looked at how much money I was getting paid as a kickboxing champion. It was very small. We didn't get millions of dollars like boxers. It was a few $1,000s. And I said, you know what? Kickboxing is no longer my profession. Kickboxing is a hobby. My profession is martial art actor. So I retired again. And I did not fight again until 1999. I get a fight offer to fight the first kickboxing match, on viewer's choice, main event, biggest, these guys do Tyson Holyfield fights. It was going to be a big show, and they offered me to come out of retirement. So I came out of retirement again. And what happened was I fought 3 fights, won 2 by knockout. My last one I won by it was by knockout, but one of them, my second fight went the distance. That was at the Tropicana, the MGM Grand Hotel.
Wow.
And I fought on ESPN. That fight went the distance. But anyway, so I was successful in my comeback, but I was 48 years old. Who's fighting at 48?
Right.
I mean, they're doing now exhibitions. Tyson and Roy Jones and Mayweather. I'll do exhibitions. I'll do an exhibition tonight if they got cash. But a real fight against a real top contender. I'm now 66. So first of all, the United States, they're not going to allow me to sanction a real fight at 66.
Wow.
I was 48 my last fight, and the Athletic Commission in Atlantic City, New Jersey, they're very strict, and they would not allow the LA doctors to examine me because they could have examined me, said I was okay, and then given me the license, right, California license, and then I could have gone to New Jersey and fought my last fight. But they said no. 3 months before the fight, I had to fly to Atlantic City just for a physical. And their doctors looked at me. I was 48 years old. And they said, he's completely fine to fight this fight. And I went back. And, that was my last fight. Was in 2002. And I won by knockout in the last round. And now I only fake fights in movies.
Right.
Anyway, I can do that forever.
I gotta admit, I was a real fan. I was like a fan of watching your films, and I used to practice my kicks. I used to do certain things. Like, man, I remember Ring of Fire. I think was one of my favorite films. Ring of Fire.
But remember, those are all fake martial art fights. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's all real, but it's not. It's all fake. Everybody's choreographed, and we're trying to be safe. We're throwing stuff that just looks good, jump kicks and.
See, but that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. Not only within martial arts, but I also wanted to do the choreography. I was like, man, hopefully I just get one chance to be able to choreograph this awesome fight scene one day. And
Art Camacho.
Yeah.
I met Art Camacho on a movie called Eric Lee was my original choreographer. But Art Camacho and I met on a movie called Out for Blood.
Right.
And my very next movie, he contacted my personal manager at the time. It was a guy named Paul Massac. And he said, look, is there any way I could come on as a choreographer for John's next movie, for this movie? And I said, yeah, I have no problem. I think if I use the same choreographer for every single movie, all my fights will look the same.
Right.
So I decided I would use, and so I've used mainly Art Camacho, but I've used, I've done movies in Ireland, in Canada, Vegas, Philippines, Thailand. I mean, I don't fly my choreographer to all the movies. I let them hire local guys, right?
Right.
And so I've used many different choreographers over the course of my career. And my fights look a little bit different. They're not all exactly the same.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing.
No, but you know what? During that time, I mean, I'm looking at it. To me, it looks amazing, you know. So I'm watching this whole thing, my brother, everything, and you know, we're practicing. So even when I was practicing, I was like, okay, I wanna do a certain type of kick. How did he do that? So I would watch how you would do certain things. And now, you know, it's like you know, being able to see you in person and see you working, and then you know, having a guy like Arcamacho. I mean, Arcamacho, if you're watching, you know what? Thank you so much for you know, giving me the opportunity to you know, pretty much always be learning from him. So I always get advice from him. I could always call him. So he's always there. He's a really awesome guy.
He's great.
Great. The other thing is, so you did the movies where you were fighting. So
up until 2002. After 2002, I have not fought since then. So, but
so it took you from 88 to 99.
Yeah, to 2002. That's a long time, right?
How did it feel? That this is another thing. How did it feel? How was that pressure? Because now I'm thinking, okay, now you're not just fighting, but now you're this you know, mega film star, okay? And now you're going back into the fight world. I mean, what was there? How was the pressure there? How was the mindset?
Okay.
Because
the mindset for me was this: you will never see me on a movie set unless I'm getting paid. But I love going to the gym and hitting the bag, putting the headgear on, my mouthpiece, sparring guys. I loved kickboxing. And by the way, I'm one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid kickboxer. But I didn't do it for the money, Gio. It was not, even when the money was low, I still loved it. Now, if acting was minimum wage, I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
I got to say, I do enjoy it though. It's fun because when you work up to, sometimes my films will take 6 weeks to shoot, right? So 6 weeks to shoot, but then it's going to be 3 months of post-production, the music, the sound effects, the editing. So I go in there and I only work on the fight action. I don't edit the drama. The director does that. You know, that's his job. The acting, the director cuts that. But when it comes to fight action, I know what a good kick looks like, right? You know, you're a martial artist. But just imagine if you just got an editor who's never taken one karate lesson and a director who's never thrown one side kick. He doesn't know what their side kicks are supposed to look like, right? So he'll pick a take, a version, an angle that maybe I wouldn't like. It looks a little sloppy, or it looks too slow. I look off balance, so I do go into the editing rooms for my fight scenes. But you know,
and that's great advice. By the way, that's great advice right there. Especially if you're a martial artist, you're doing movies, go see it, because I'm thinking you had to be there because, you know, not only are you getting, I mean, you're getting all these martial artists to say, you know, the kick didn't look well, didn't look good. So you needed
they know the difference.
Because that's the people I was saying, these are your fans. These are the people that are looking at you. So they want to see perfection in everything that you're doing, you know. So not only as a movie star, but you're also doing it as a martial artist. So you're also catering to the martial art community.
Yes, that we call that my hardcore fan base. The hardest core fan base is the people like you who actually study the martial arts. So when you look at a fight scene, you know what a side kick is supposed to look like. You know what a back fist, a left hook, a knee to the stomach. Whereas, you know, the average person who just watches movies and he's never taken one lesson, they really don't know what it's supposed to look like. You know, but still, you want to make it look good, and you want to have the sound effects good. The music's got to be good. You know, there are many aspects of filmmaking.
Right.
That look, we don't know if Clint Eastwood can shoot a gun, right? We don't know in reality if he can hold a gun and shoot a target 100 yards away. But we know he looks great faking it.
Right.
In movies, the way he looks at them, when the lines he make my day, or what, you know what I mean? He can fake it great, but we really don't know. Now, there are guys doing movies like Keanu Reeves. He can fake it great, but we don't really know. Well, I'm pretty sure if Keanu Reeves got in the ring and fought like the, say, middleweight kickboxing champion, he'd get knocked right out.
Right.
I don't care if he does 10 more Matrixes. He is not going to win a world kickboxing title. But people know when they see me and they see Chuck Norris and they see even Seagal, even though he is not a real fighter, but he is a real black belt in Aikido, they know we can execute our moves for real. And I think that's why we became successful. The studios, they've tried many times to create like a martial art action star kind of guy. And, but, look, I will say the best example of having created one is Keanu Reeves.
Right.
Because he does John Wick as well, right? But I think Keanu Reeves probably is a pretty good martial artist. I think he studied under the Gracies. I believe he studied some jiu-jitsu. And I'm sure he studied with some kung fu guys because he did some kung fu when he was doing Matrix. So,
right.
I think, look, he's not just an actor now. And I hear rumors about him that he'll train for 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight on a fight scene. So he's really a hardworking actor.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, I think it's very important. If you don't,
if you're going to play an action star,
working, it doesn't show on screen.
Yeah, because look, we don't want our action stars to use the stuntman through the whole fight, right? Imagine this: you got Chuck Norris going to do a fight scene, and he fights for a minute and a half, and you never see his face because they're cut to the back of his head, the side of his head, the top of his head, because it's not Chuck Norris. Right. You know what I mean? We wouldn't like that. We like knowing that it's the star doing the fight action.
Look,
and Jackie Chan does all his own real stunts. He jumps off the buildings, he jumps on top of moving, cars and all. He does crazy stuff. But you can't do that in American films because there's a thing called the bonding company. It's the insurance company. And if Don Wilson is doing a movie, and it's my low budget movie, it's $1 million movie, let's say, $2 million movie. If I fall off of a moving car and I sprain my ankle and it shuts down shooting for like 2-3 weeks, that's a lot of money.
That's
and the insurance company will say, get a stuntman to do that scene.
Right.
Yeah, and so even if I wanted to, even if Jackie wanted to do Rush Hour, I'm sure a lot of his stuff in Rush Hour, they stunt double it.
Oh yeah.
They can even today, the bigger budget movies, they got CGI, computer generated. They can take your face and put it on Jackie Chan's body and have you jumping from a building to building, and the audience wouldn't know the difference. And today, they have the CGI, computer generated images. They're so advanced that they can do, They say they could right now today. They could make a Bruce Lee movie, and you and I could watch it, and we couldn't tell it wasn't really Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Yes, they could synthesize his voice, the way he moves, the expressions on his face, and they say, yeah, and it would cost a lot of money though. Cost a lot of money. But if Linda Lee and Shannon can make money off it, I say go ahead and make another Bruce Lee movie. Let's do another CGI. Yes. We'll do Enter the Dragon 2.
Yeah, all on CGI.
Yeah. Well, they say they can just we watch these Avatar movies, right? Those look pretty realistic. That looks pretty realistic to me.
Yeah, you're setting up with yourself with that sensor and CGI the action. Anyway, we have people saying hello to you, from Mexico. We got people from Argentina saying hello to you. We got Danny Lopez. Yesterday he was I was in his film yesterday. Danny Lopez. He's doing a film. And I was getting choked by John Barrett, which is, I used to watch American Kickboxer 1. He choked me out last night.
Oh.
Fight scene. So anyway, you know what?
Well, congratulations.
Opportunity, Danny Lopez. Watch out for that film. Tommy Steele, how you doing? Had him in an interview the other day. Martial artist sending you greetings from British Columbia. So, going back, so CGI. Talking about CGI. How about one of the things that I was listening to, like for example, you know how they did the game Mortal Kombat, and I know
Yeah,
that
yeah. I think there's a new movie coming out now. A
there is
new version of Motor Combat. Yeah.
but I would think, like for example, let's say if I'm creating a new film or if I'm doing some sort of CGI film, why not bring back Don the Dragon Wilson and get your rights to be able to bring you in as a like imagine having a whole tournament like Don like Enter the Dragon 2, but we have Bruce Lee, we have you, we have Chuck, we have everybody.
There are people who make these video games, and you can go
Yeah.
on if you go to YouTube, you go Don Wilson versus Bruce Lee. There's somebody made an image of me and put it, and it's in a cage, and I fight Bruce Lee.
I haven't seen that. I gotta watch that now.
Yeah, go to YouTube, just go Don Dragon Wilson versus Bruce Lee. But listen, I'm going to tell you the guys I fought. Don the Dragon Wilson fights in this video game, and Joe Rogan does it's the UFC video game. So it's the UFC is doing this, and Joe Rogan is announcing it. I fight Bruce Lee. I fight Dennis Alexio. I fight Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I fight Lorenzo Lamas. And guess what? I get knocked out by all four of them.
Okay.
I write on it. It's just a joke. I don't care about that. I write, who is programming this game? I didn't mind getting knocked out by Bruce Lee.
And none of those guys have 11 world titles. None of those guys have 11 world titles.
No, Van Damme was a point fighter. He was a member of the Belgium team. His real name is Van Varenberg. If you go to YouTube and you go Jean-Claude Van Damme kickboxing matches, nothing will pop up. You go Van Varenberg world champ. He told people he was a kickboxing champion, and but nobody's ever. He's got no opponents, no promotions, no judges, no videos, and a champion fights 12 rounds. So you can go on. My 12-round fights are on video. You watch Benny Urquidez, Bill Wallace. You watch Chuck Norris fighting point fights. But there's no Van Damme did not have any fight. That's all lies. It's just lies. And I like his movies. I always like Van Damme's movies. Not some are better than others, but I've always liked them and supported them. It's not about his movie. It's not right for anybody to say they are undefeated middleweight champion of the world, and it's not true. Lying is not good.
And he has personally said he has?
Oh, yes.
Oh, he has? Okay.
Yes. He has done interviews.
His PR or something. I'm thinking just for him to get more.
No. It was his first movie that he starred in as a good guy, not with Bloodsport. And they put on the poster, undefeated world middleweight champion. And at that time, there was an undefeated world champion. It was Bill Wallace. And I believe Bill Wallace filed a legal injunction against Canon Films to take it off the poster, and they end up taking it off the poster. So he never had it on the posters after that, but in many interviews, he said, yes, I was the world champion many times. So I don't like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Seagal's never said it. I've got no problems with Seagal, Jeff Speakman. None of the other actors lie like that. Said they were world champions.
Right. But then you're talking about different arts. I mean, I would say, like, for example, Steven Seagal, I mean, that's a totally separate, art.
Aikido is not even a striking art.
It's not.
To my knowledge, there's no Aikido tournament.
There is no Aikido tournaments, and then there's nothing like that. So yeah, I think I trust me. I agree with you 100%. If you're not a world kickboxing champion or whatsoever, just admit, hey, I'm not. I practice my kicks and I'm a movie star. That's it.
First of all, you don't need to say it, right?
Yeah.
What interview has Keanu Reeves ever said, "Oh, I was a world kickboxing champion"?
No.
Never.
No.
Jeff Speakman. When was Jeff Speakman ever? I'm a world kickboxing champion. Chuck Norris. He was a point fighting champion, though, Chuck Norris. So he said
Yeah.
that. That's true.
Yeah.
Billy Blanks never said he was a kickboxing champion. Kickboxing is not point fighting, as you know. There are many point fighting championships.
Yeah.
But kickboxing is a real sport. It's like, look, Stallone made a lot of money on Rocky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he walk around saying that he can beat up Mike Tyson and he's a world champion boxer? No. It was a stupid thing, and Van Damme just kept perpetuating it, and that was not good. You know, that was not good for him, not good for the martial arts. People ask me, though, I've had martial artists like you, interviewers, ask me, well, what's the harm in it, Don? He promotes martial arts. I said, I'll tell you what the harm is. I saw an interview he did for a karate magazine, and they asked him, Jean-Claude, what do you do so you can have power in your punches? And he said, I do a lot of curls and tricep exercise, and I have big arms to throw hard punches.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's like a doctor giving fake medical advice. Like he doesn't really have a license to practice medicine, but they say, Dr. Van Damme, what can I do to stay healthy? And Van Damme says, well, just eat some oranges and you'll never catch a cold. Or something. You know, in other words, it's malpractice. We don't want actors to go around giving advice on how to throw powerful. The way to get power in punches is to relax your arms and use your hips and your shoulders. Now that's a lot different and that's from a guy who kickboxed 28 years, right? Yeah. I'm telling you the real truth. If you want to hit hard, relax all this and use your whole body with the punch and then bring it back. Your body does the power, not the muscle of your arm.
Right.
Now, that is, like when I teach seminars, I teach the real thing. People generally, some of the instructors, before they have me come to their schools and teach, they say, well, Mr. Wilson, what are you going to teach? And I said, it's very simple. I teach everything I wish somebody had taught me. Because I learned the hard way. I learned in the ring and over 20 years of trial and error, how to throw block right hands, left hooks, how to avoid kicks, things like that.
Right.
But people that take my seminar, they don't have to take all the punishment I took. Because I'll just show them.
Take the knowledge.
I have the knowledge, real knowledge, and I teach it. Now, I'm glad that my movies can inspire someone like you to take martial arts. But don't watch my movies like they're training tapes. Because it's all fake. It's all movie stuff. Here's what we do when we're doing the fight scene, me and Art Camacho. We go, okay, what's going to look really, really good? We decide what kicks are going to kind of look good for the camera angle. Yeah. We don't decide which kicks actually work against a self-defense situation. So when you watch the fights, I would never do I would throw a jump side kick at a guy standing in a hotel room with a knife or something, you know, but I'll do it in a movie because it looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
Wait. You got to give credit to that guy that goes out flying because I've done that so many times. I get kicked in the face and I'm flipping.
Art Camacho will tell you it's the stuntman that makes me look good. And I'll tell you I've thrown sidekicks at fighters or stuntmen's heads many times in my films. It's one of my favorite techniques. I'm known for it, the sidekick. If you want to see the best one that is on film for me, and it's not in an action movie, it's in a comedy. It's in a family film called The Martial Arts Kid. But it's the actor that does the scene. His name is Marcus. C. Marcus Taylor. He is about 225 pounds, and he went down so fast that it looked like I kicked him right in the face with a sidekick. Made the kick look great. Yes. So
he sold it.
He's correct. That's the term. He sold it. It's the martial art kid, and it's the sidekick that hits Mark. It's my best one. And I've been an actor for 28 years. So I throw a lot of sidekicks.
What's his name again?
Marcus C. Taylor. Or it's actually C. Marcus Taylor. But you know what? If you watch the trailer.
Oh, I know who he is.
I think it might be in the trailer of the martial art kid, the sidekick. I'm not sure though. I haven't seen the trailer in probably a few years, but
check it out, guys.
Yeah, the stuntmen make me look good, or the stuntmen make me look bad.
There's some guys over here saying, Tommy Steele, would love to work with you one day, Don. And then I got my brother saying hello to you from Kansas City.
Oh,
So,
hello. Well, I use everybody I know in my movies.
yeah. Well, anyway, the other thing is, how was it? When did you move into producing films? Because I know you were you were acting and producing. So
here's what happened. Early in my career, Roger Corman starred me in the first movie, and I ended up doing 12 movies with Roger Corman. And anybody you can Google his name, Roger Corman, he has produced more movies than anybody in the world, probably 350 movies, I think it is, at least 350. So he knows the movie business, and he told me early on, like I believe it's my third film, is my first producer credit. He said, Don, at the budgets of your movies, you could potentially be in, let's say, 2 or 3 really bad movies in a row. You're out of the business after that. Mm-hmm. You'd be lucky if somebody even puts you in their movie, because when the movies are losing money, you're not getting hired. It can happen to anybody, and even Tom Cruise has had movies that lost money. I'm sure Brad Pitt. So you don't want 3 in a row. That's what So he said, instead of just going for the money, say when somebody makes an offer and says, listen, I'll give you X amount of money to star in my film. Read the script, if I like the script, and then I'll say, I also want co-producer rights and credits, which means this. Let's say picking the director, I get to okay the director. Let's say casting the female lead, I get to okay in other words, it's called mutual approval. Okay. I have to okay the choice. Like the bad guy, I like picking my bad guys, I want to know who my bad guy is in a movie. And I want to have a good one, I want to have a skilled martial artist or a really good actor or whatever. So I started doing the producing, not because I was out making the money. I didn't get paid any money for that producing. The producing went along with my acting fee. So I didn't charge them anything, but I had control over my movies. And I really, after 30 years in the business, I've starred in 30 movies.
Right.
You know what my movie record is? 30-0. I've produced and starred in 30 movies. Every single one was profitable. Now some were unbelievably profitable. And not because of me, just because of timing and the way the director did a great job and whatever. But all 30. Now there's no actors in Hollywood, very few, that can say every single movie that they were the star was profitable. But I can. And you can look back. First of all, this is what proves it to me, because people say, well, how did you get all the numbers? Here's one way. I have 12 movies with one producer, Roger Corman. Now, how do you get to number 12 if the other ones are losing money? You know what I mean? Now, here's how my career went.
You would have been done the first 3.
12 movies with Roger Corman. I have 6 movies with PM Entertainment. So now 2 producers, that's 18 movies. Then I have 6 movies with a guy named Andrew Stevens and Ashok. They were partners. So now that's 6. So that's, let's see. Well, anyway, I've only worked with a handful of producers because they make money. They want to do more movies. We keep working with the same guys. I think now I've gotten a little more freed up because I'm doing things differently. I'm doing like cameos in movies. I'll come and I'll do one scene.
Right.
And I don't have to produce the movie. I don't have to, pick the music. I don't have to edit anything. In fact, I used to write the stories and the scripts. I worked on the scripts. Right. I don't have to do any of that now. I've gotten to the point my agent said, Don, because I asked him, I got called to do one scene with Billy Zane in a movie. It's actually a longer than one. It took 2 days to film it. So it's basically 2 scenes with Billy Zane, the bad guy from Titanic.
Uh-huh.
And they paid me more money than I used to get to star in movies. And that's working months, like a month on the movie, then let's say a month to 2 months post-production, and then a month selling the video, traveling around the U.S. promoting the video. So what used to take me 3 months, I can go and in 2 days make the same amount of money. And he said, Don, you became what they call a name. And I go, what do you mean a name? He goes, you're not selling the movie, but the budget of the movie is so high that everybody that's in it has to be recognizable to the audience.
Got it. So
And so I was recognizable.
Created. You've always created that value.
Yeah.
That's
30 years.
value.
A 30-year name recognition.
Because I saw your IMDb and there's over 70 something credits on your IMDb. So
well, you know, I now I'm doing. I do like one scene, 2 scenes, whatever.
yeah.
I'll do supporting cast, and not every movie I'm the star and I have to work. You know, when I was a star, I used to work every single day. I used to laugh and say, I'm the first one on the set, and the last one to leave. And it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Question. Which one is your favorite movie that you could say like, oh, my martial arts skills in this movie was, I love it.
Red Sun Rising.
What's it called?
Red Sun Rising.
Red Sun Rising. Why is that your favorite film? Okay.
Number one, my personal manager produced it. Mm-hmm. So the original story came from me. Actually, it came from me and my best friend, Chris Penn. Because he was going to do the movie with me, but he ended up doing True Romance. And so he couldn't do my movie. But anyway, we come up with the idea. So we had an idea for a movie. And then my personal manager, Paul Massack, hired a good friend of his to write the script. So the script was written really well. Then I used to go to the Gold's Gym in North Hollywood, and I was training with James Liu. Mm-hmm. And so I saw James Liu, and I said, James, I'm going to do this movie. I said, the best role in the movie is the bad guy. I said, and I want you to be the bad guy. And he said, oh, great. I'd love to do it. I'd love to. I told him the general story. And it ended up, I helped create the movie. And the people that my personal manager hired, like the music guy, probably did the best music for me. Anyway, it really fit the movie. And the casting, I'll tell you the cast. My trainer in the movie is a guy named Mako. I don't know if you know Mako, but he's a very famous Japanese actor. In fact, he was nominated for an Academy Award. My police captain, or the police captain in LA that played the main cop, was Michael Ironside, who's everybody knows he's a really, really solid actor. And you know, he's an A-list actor. He worked with Schwarzenegger on Total Recall. You know, he does big budget stuff, Michael Ironside. So I was just surrounded with a great experienced cast. And look, if you go watch the movie on YouTube, Red Sun Rising, James Liu, he steals the movie. And which is good. I'm happy for. I mean, when he is in a scene, he's the only one you look at, and he has got so much charisma as this character. It's a mystical. He plays a mystical guy who actually has magic in the movie, and his name is Jaho, Jaho, Jaho. He plays this mystical character that uses. Oh, he uses a death touch, like you know the thing where they touch you and then you die later. Dim Mak, right? He's a master of dim mak. Now you want to fight somebody like that in a fight scene?
Yeah.
All you have to do is touch you, and yeah. But it was really good, and I you know, please write me back and tell me what you think about it when you see it, because it was HBO bought it as a world premiere. I've had 4 HBO world premieres, and that was one of them. Red Sun Rising. Yeah.
Awesome. The other one, another question for the people that are your fight fans, which fight would you say was your toughest fight you had?
That's like an almost impossible thing to actually figure out, because there's so many tough fights. I fought many world champions and many undefeated guys. When they met me, they were undefeated until that fight. And and I end up winning. But I'll tell you, some fights take a personal. They become personal. And here's one. It was a fight with Jean-Yves Theriault. Now here's why though. And we're great friends, and I love the guy, respect him. He was the world champion of one association, which was the PKA. I was the same weight division. I was the world champion of the WKA. Mm-hmm. And so we both won our titles the same year, 1980. And when I was decided I was going to retire in 1984, I thought we should fight before we retire. So neither organization would sanction the fight. The WK, we have leg kicks. We kick the leg, so they would not sanction it. The other association said that they made all their champions sign a contract. If you win the title, we have to manage you. But my brother was my manager, so I would not sign the PKA contract. So now here's what you have. Two world champions from two different associations want to fight. The associations will not sanction the fight.
Oh,
so
man.
what we did was this. We went to Montreal, Canada, and we fought 12 rounds, unsanctioned, for no world title, but we fought a 12-round fight. That everybody, we knew when it was over, everybody would consider whoever had the win as the real world champion. And yeah, so here's what happened. We fight the 12 rounds in Montreal. Now, Montreal is basically his hometown. You know, it's his promoter, JT Will, his referee. It was under what they call PKA rules. My rules allowed low kicks, but there were no low kicks. So anyway, this is all geared for him to win, but he did not win. I won. I'm positive I outpointed him. But what they did was, Canadian judges, they called it a draw. So I thought to myself, this is December of 1984. I thought, you know what? That's not going to be bad. I got $15,000 for the fight. I said, I'm going to fight him again. I'll knock him out the second time. So I'll make another $15,000. And when I quit the sport after that, and
the second one had to be $50,000. The second one had to be more than that.
No, we already signed the contract. We get the same amount.
Oh, okay.
The rematch was we fight again for the same price. So the promoter was happy. But so here's you can watch the fight. It's Johnny Terrier's his name. It's on YouTube. But
Terrier.
Terrier, Theriault. Theriault.
Okay.
Johnny's. And it's in Montreal, Canada. Okay, so you tell me if that fight was a draw. You watch that fight. You tell me honestly, you think it was an even fight? Like, you know, I didn't score more. I thought I outscored him in points.
Okay,
anyway,
I'll watch it. Yeah. And I have a good eye.
Well,
I said I'll watch it. Look, I have a good eye for fighting.
In 1984, Black Belt Magazine watched the fight. They thought I won. So
okay.
I was voted in the end of 1984 as by Full Contact Fighter of the Year. And so here I am. I got Fighter of the Year. I won against my biggest rival. I took the fight money, moved to LA to be an actor. And ran out of money, came back, and I fought again in Montreal. They paid $10,000 for me to fight. And my trainer said, Don, there's no reason to quit fighting. You can still try to be an actor. But you can pick up some money. You don't have to struggle in L.A. Right. If you can just come here. I knocked the guy out in 3 rounds in Montreal. Knocked him right out. So in 6 minutes, I made $10,000. So why am I running around Hollywood, can't buy a hamburger, you know, some struggling actor? And so that's why I came out of retirement. The first time I came out, it was because, you know, I was trying to support myself in L.A. while I was trying to be an actor.
Got it.
And when I quit, it was because I got successful as an actor. When I came out, it was because, look, here's the kind of numbers we were talking when I came out of retirement. I got paid $150,000 up front before the fight just to sign the contract. They called it a signing bonus. $150,000. Then they gave me 12% of the gross pay-per-view. Now, I didn't care about that. When they told me they were going to give me a signing bonus of $150,000 after I signed the contract, I get the check. I was ready to sign. And I did.
Wow.
My trainer told me, though, he goes, you know, Don, I don't like this, getting the money up front like that. He goes, it takes away your incentive. I said, no. I said, don't worry. I'm going to take this $150,000 and I'm going to spend it really fast. So I said, by the time I get in the ring, I'll be broke. I need that money.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what?
I did spend it pretty fast, though.
I remember you training training in Van Nuys with the Goosens. You were doing
yeah. Pat became my trainer.
Yeah.
It was Pat Goosen and Bill Slayton. Bill Slayton trained me in Watts.
Yeah.
And Pat trained me in it's actually like a North Hollywood area. You know, they had a gym indoors. It was like in a house.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the Goose's gyms was right there on Van Nuys Boulevard and
Yes, and then that one too.
Street.
I trained there as well. But you know,
Yeah.
that was Dan's brothers. His brothers had that 10 Goose gym.
Oh, okay, yeah, 10 Goose's, right?
Yeah,
and
10 Goose gym.
Yeah, I used to work right around
10 brothers and sisters. 10 brothers and sisters, Gooses, yeah.
Right, yeah, no, I remember seeing you there hitting the bag, and I saw you there. It's like I was thinking, I was like, is he going into boxing? I thought you were gonna go.
No. I did look for training reasons. I did have some boxing matches because then I said, you know what, I'm going to concentrate on my hands. I'm going to go, but I was not a very good boxer. You know, I when I could use my legs, I use my hands to finish guys. Like I don't score points with jabs and right hand. I don't try to rack up points. I rack up points with my legs, my kicking. Okay. I do like multiple kicks and things. So I get ahead on points. Now my opponents are desperate. They can't stay outside. I'm outscoring them. I'm a kicker. So they try to close in. When they close in, I use my boxing. And I surprised them. You know, I knocked out 48 guys, 48 pro fighters. Now, you can't get lucky. That's not 48 lucky punches. You know what I mean?
No, it's guys that they know what they're doing.
I know how to put some power behind my punches. That's the thing. And when you're looking at my legs, then now I got you. When you start reacting to my side kick, I just have to make the right move. Or I throw the kick, you block it, and as my foot comes down, I'm moving in to finish you with my hands. There's a method to my madness, you know. I'm not much of an actor, but when it came to kickboxing, I've got to be in the top 1%. I'm not saying I'm the best kickboxer. Because the only way to really prove that is to get in the ring and fight everybody. And I can't, you know, that will never happen. I'll never be able to fight Benny, and I'll never have, you know, Bill Walsh, and I would never fight. But I was one of them, though. I was one of the top guys.
There's we got somebody asking, did you ever fight Danny Steele? I don't think so. I don't think you were in the same weight category. It's another kickboxing champion, but he was, I think, later on. Danny Steele.
No, as a matter of fact, I never even heard the name.
Yeah, he's just a different weight category. No, he didn't.
But I fought from middleweight to heavyweight to cruiserweight.
We got someone here saying you hit hard. Johnny Elvis Foster says, Don the Dragon Wilson hits hard.
Well, when I was young, I hit pretty hard, you know, because when I knock guys out, it's not because I do like Leonard, like hit them 3 times and they go down. I hit them once. One right hand, one left hook, one kick to the head. You know, it's not a combination. I'm not like Leonard. I don't feel like quick combinations. When I knock guys out, it's one shot at a time.
You were, you know, last time that I saw you in, you know, that you were teaching, you were talking about having you were explaining different awkwardness of stance, like how you see McGregor standing now. You see different martial artists even standing back now. It just throws off like a fighter that's just ready to fight, you know, like that normal stance. So you get another fighter. You started talking about that.
You got to adapt. Now look, there's a sport called Thai boxing. Thai boxing in Thailand, 2 guys come out. They are in the same fighting stance. They fight like they're doing the same things.
Right.
They're just trying to outdo each other, but their strategy is the same. Now, the reason why I had success against Thai fighters is I came out in a side stance, a horse stance, way down low, not throwing roundhouses, throwing side kicks. They never even seen a side kick.
Right.
And using my hands like a point fighter.
Right.
You know, I throw like a wide hook, which is actually a ridge hand. They don't even know what that is, ridge hand. And so anyway, what I'm saying is they got used to Thai boxers fighting. Everybody fights the same way. They just try to outdo each other in the same style. But then when I stepped in there, I just totally changed up the whole thing. I'm throwing, when guys try to kick to my legs, I threw kicks to their heads. The fourth Adipon Fantaf fought 6 times in Europe, knocked out all 6 European champions. And he wanted to fight me, so we scheduled a fight in Hong Kong. I get in there, and he's standing in front of me, and I'm in my side stance, and he's not used to seeing that. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. And I bring my knee up, and boom, I hit him on the forehead, dropped him right down. He caught the ring. It's the only reason why he didn't get knocked out of the ring. And
just wasn't expecting those kicks.
No, it's he'd never seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at the side kicks. I've been throwing side kicks by then for 20 years professionally, throwing side kicks. So it's not like I'm doing a sloppy, slow, easy to block side kick.
No,
I bring my leg up, and he's standing in front of me like this, all completely wide like this, and I just threw it. Boom, hit him. Now I will say this: tough guy. He gets back off the floor, finishes the fight.
Right.
Finishes the fight. Now he did have a broken leg, like he was in the hospital the day after the fight with a big leg cast, and his trainer said, "Okay, Doc," because they did literally a press conference in his hospital bed. Because I went and visited him. I have no ill feelings for him. I visited him in the hospital bed. And the press in China, they're all shocked because this Thai boxer got beat by this, American. And I fought 6 times in Hong Kong. I won all 6.
Wow.
But the guy looks at the press and he says, yes, Don Wilson beat my fighter. But, he said, my fighter had a broken leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the press and I said, yes, I broke it. But the Thai fighters are the toughest fighters. They won't quit. He didn't quit. But he had one of those big leg casts. Look, when I say broken, I don't mean it was broken in half.
Right.
He had a little what they call hairline fracture.
Right.
Tiny. But he couldn't walk on it. He couldn't put weight on it, so he was in the hospital. But the point is, he did finish the fight. He is a tough guy. And it's just if you don't knock somebody out in any competition in the fight game, the way the determination is, the 3 guys sitting around the ring, they tell you whether you won or not, right? Boxing, that's MMA, that's UFC, that's kickboxing. 3 guys, and usually, Gio, they're guys who have never even been in the ring themselves.
Right.
Think about it. They're judging who the winner is, but they themselves are not like great fighters and great martial artists or great boxers. It's kind of, they got to do it that way though, because they don't have enough boxers to get all the top boxers to be also the judges. Right. So I will admit that in all my fight career, decisions I won, the guys giving it aren't necessarily experts on kickboxing. Sure.
Yeah, we got
Salvador. Remember, I started fighting in '74 in this country, Gio, and there were no kickboxers.
Oh man!
I'm one of the first ones. So now just think, I'm fighting in front of a judge. It's 1978. Sports only existed for 4 years, and you got judges. So yeah, the judges have never been in a kickboxing arena. So they're trying to figure out who's doing the best.
Man.
So I have to say that I have 5 losses on my record.
That's
only one do I consider I really lost. The other 4 bad decisions. I'll say it. I don't agree.
Look, all I could say about our conversation is that you've lived a wonderful life without fear. Because it seems like you've always, stepped forward and always took that chance every time.
Well, I enjoy it. Like a lot of guys think that getting in the kickboxing ring and fight. Look, what is fun? If you're a mountain climber, let's say you are a mountain climber, that's your passion, right? That's what you love to do. Somebody points at a little tiny hill that's maybe 100 feet tall, and he says, if you climb to the top of that, do you get a lot of satisfaction? You're going to look at that hill and say, no, I climb up that. I'll be up that thing in 30 minutes. And the guy looks and he points, well, there's Mount Everest over there.
Right.
If you get to the top of that, do you have the feeling? And you look at that, you know what? If I get to the top of Mount Everest, I'm good. I'll be proud. I'll feel good.
You guys are listening to wisdom words right now.
Well, for me, the better the fighter, they said they lined up for me, the more challenging he was. It wasn't like, oh, Don, are you scared? That's the guy I've been looking for my whole life. Yeah. I fought many guys that were undefeated before they fought me. And Bronco Sikatic had like a string of 20 straight knockouts. A lot of guys think, oh, Don should be scared. Scared? That's my dream opponent. That's my dream opponent. That's the Mount Everest to climb.
Crazy, crazy. But you
Now,
see, that's the mentality, that your mindset. That's the
yeah,
mindset. So you know what? We only have 5 more minutes, Don. And you know, I mean, this has been an amazing time. And I don't want you to, I always say we have 5 minutes and then we finish the broadcast. Don't leave when we finish the broadcast. But what I'm saying is, I want you to take maybe the last 3 minutes to maybe give some advice to those martial artists that are teaching, that are training, that are starting out. What advice can you give them in practice? And then
have I
also,
learned anything in my life of value? Have I gotten any wisdom in the? I'm 66. In my 66 years on Earth, have I learned anything? And I think I've learned a couple of things. One thing is this: if you want to accomplish anything, like you want something, they say, well, you got to really want it. Yes, but wanting without active doing things, you will never make it happen. In other words, we can't sit here and wish a world championship and about to be in the living room, right?
right,
You got to do the work. So anything in life, you got to set goals. Now, the higher the goal, to me anyway, the more likely people are going to tell you negative. They're going to say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't be a world champion. What? You're from Cocoa Beach. There's no kickboxing champions." I say, aim at the world championship. You might not ever make it though. You might become a contender. You might win the U.S. championship. You might. My first title was the Florida State Championship. So I started small, right? The state of Florida. That was my first championship. But you got to start somewhere. So life is not, and all martial artists should understand this. Nobody goes from white belt to black belt.
definitely.
You ever heard of it happening? Guy shows up, instructor puts a white belt on. Within a few weeks or something, he's wearing a black belt. No, there's steps along the way, sacrifices you have to make, training, life changes, decisions, and it will not be easy. I found this: the easier it is, the less satisfaction you get from it. The things that are really tough, like winning a world title, is tough. Keeping it's tougher. I kept mine 10 years, light heavyweight title, but it's tough. So the payoff is good too. You make good money. You live an exciting life. You enjoy yourself. So I tell everybody, don't listen to the naysayers, the people who tell you while you're doing it, it can't be done. While you're running on the beach and hitting the bag and winning your fights, there's going to be plenty of people who will keep telling you can't be a world champion. You can't, because I use the same philosophy in martial arts in the movie industry. So did Chuck Norris, and so did Arnold Schwarzenegger. All three of us did a TV show together once at the Arnold Classic. Me and Arnold was the highest paid actor in the world then. He had just finished Terminator 2. Chuck, I think, had done 1 year of Walker, Texas Ranger. And I had been voted on, well, I'm not voted. I was in Time Magazine for being one of the top 4 video stars. One of the top 4. I wasn't the best, but, my videos were consistently ranking the top 10. So they considered me one of the top 4. So we had all 3 become successful, and nobody in Hollywood thought we'd make it. And Arnold laughed and said, "You guys had an advantage over me." And I'm thinking, what advantage do I have over Arnold? I don't have any contacts when I moved to LA. He said, "You could speak English." And then I realized, I said, oh my God, imagine if you wanted to be a movie star and you go to a country like Austria, where he's from.
Yeah.
You can't even speak Austrian. How are you going to be an Austrian movie star?
Hey, it's a problem you have. It's a problem you have. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be hurdles. You just got to
at
jump,
least
friend.
I could speak the language. He was right.
Yeah.
Me and Chuck both didn't say anything because he was right. We thought we started our careers late in life. I was not given him much of a chance. Chuck was not given much of a chance to be a star. And not only did Chuck become a motion picture star, when he went to the TV series, no martial artist, none, had ever had a successful TV show. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of them had it since Chuck, right? Who has had a successful TV series for a year or years? David Carradine doesn't count because David Carradine's an actor, and he faked his martial arts in that TV show that Kung Fu Legend Continues.
Yeah,
The
right.
first martial art guy, black belt, that you and I respect as a top fighter, 8 years, Walker, Texas Ranger. It was the #1 action show in the world.
Yeah,
So Arnold, me, and Chuck
crazy.
use the life lessons from our sports, same life lessons that all you martial artists watching this, you've learned it. You don't go from white belt to black belt. You work your way up to yellow belt, to green belt, to a brown belt. Slowly, you work your way up. And
Get better every time.
yes, don't believe the naysayers. Believe in yourself. This is my quote, dragon words of wisdom. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. Don't give up. And I wish everybody luck in whatever they choose. If they want to be in the movie business, I wish them luck. It's tough business. If they want to be professional fighters, it's another tough business, but I wish them luck. And I'd like to say thank you to all your fans that have supported my fight and supported my movies throughout my life, because that's the reason why I was able to have 2 careers, is because the people listening to this broadcast are the kind of people that supported me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Don the Dragon
Thank
Wilson.
you.
I want to thank you, and I know the International Hall of Fame is so honored to have you. Where can they find you? Or
Facebook. I've got a Don Wilson, and you know there are fan sites that I have nothing to do with. My personal Facebook page is completely open, so they don't have to become friends. I got the first 5,000 in like a week, but I have thousands of people that are followers. But it's the same thing. When you have an open page, followers can do everything that friends can, and it's completely open Facebook. So you just go Don Wilson Facebook, and then I'm holding a microphone, so that's the one that's me.
Yeah. Awesome, that's amazing. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching. A los que hablan español también, que están en Sudamérica, Centroamérica, México, también les quiero agradecer por, yo sé que no tuvimos ninguna conversación en español, pero, Dr. Dragon Wilson, es una persona muy especial. Y muchas gracias por todo. Voy a terminar la transmisión, pero si quieren también pueden buscarme a mí en como Gio Perez, MA Talk. So you could follow me on Instagram too, Gio Perez Official. You could find me there, and you'll find pictures. I know I posted probably a picture with you and Cynthia Rothrock the last time that we met over there in the martial art gym. But anyway, thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody, and thank you for watching. See you guys.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy, guys.